Hello everyone, my name is Dr. K.C.H. Apparao, working as an associate professor in mechanical engineering department. Okay, in previous classes we discussed the injection systems in S engine, injection systems in C engine. Now we'll see ignition systems. Ignition systems for IC engines. We'll see. We know that injection system is a fuel injection system in S engine and C engine we already covered in previous classes. Now we'll see ignition of the ignition of the charged air fuel mixture. We'll see how to perform the ignition system in post of S engine. We'll see. So okay, before going to discussion about ignition system, we'll see the outcome of this course. So at the end of the course, students should be able to classify the fuel injection and ignition systems, injection systems and ignition system, to predict the application of combustion chambers, like some types like such as T-head and overhead. Now we'll see what is ignition system, what is the importance of ignition system, what are the types of ignition systems in S engine. We'll see. Ignition system, you know this one. Ignition system is a system used to generate very high voltage, like from car battery, to send it to each spark plug, in turn thereby igniting the air fuel mixture. You know this one. This is a cylinder. You know this one. So this one is the cylinder. This one is the piston, TDC and BDC. Okay. This is the inlet to manifold. This one is the exhaust manifold. Here we will place this spark plug. The main importance of this spark plug is to ignite the air fuel mixture, which is taken into the cylinder in section stroke. You know this one. By the help of this spark plug, ignition takes place because the spark plug gives some spark due to passes of high voltage from two electrodes. So because of this spark, automatically ignition takes place, combustion takes place in the air fuel mixture. Okay, so if it is the just like single cylinder, if there are many cylinders, like suppose four cylinder engine, if there are 4 cylinders, as per the times we have to provide the ignition or spark. We have to provide the spark to perform the combustion process in each cylinder. So by the help of that one, also automatically the brake power will be improved. You know this one. So to provide the spark by spark plug, you have to provide the high voltages as per the timings. But to provide this high voltage to supply the spark by spark plug, so there is some systems are there, that is called ignition system. Okay, there are 3 types of ignition systems are there. One is the battery coil ignition system. Second one is the magneto ignition systems. So third one is the electronic ignition systems also. Now we'll see the first 2. What is battery coil ignition system? Next one is the magneto ignition system. First of all, we'll see the first one, battery or coil ignition system, simply called as. The most of the modern spark ignition engines, SA engines, mainly SA engines, uses, just like engines are use battery ignition system mainly. Okay. So the main components of this battery ignition system or coil ignition system are, the first one is the battery. The voltage of battery is nearly 6 to 12 volts, and ignition switch also there to passes of power from the battery to coils. Next one is the induction coil. So induction coil is very important. It transforms the energy. Okay. So next one is the circuit or contact breaker. We'll see what is the importance of these components. Circuit or contact breaker. What is the importance of circuit or contact breaker? We'll see this one also. Condenser also there. And distributor as per the timings, distributing of the power or high charge as per the timings. We'll see. This is the these are the main components of coil ignition system. Okay, we'll see some points regarding the battery ignition system or coil ignition system. Mainly, it uses in cars, passenger cars. You know the different types of cars are in market, and light trucks also. So cars and light trucks will use this type of ignition system. Okay, a battery ignition system for 4-cylinder. So nearly 4-cylinder. So this one is the 4-cylinder engine, which is run by battery ignition system. Okay. Where in which, so battery supplies the electrical energy. So energy is supplied by the battery. Okay. So through ignition switch, an ignition switch is used to control the battery current. So passing or just breaking and passing of current by the help of ignition switch. Okay. So this is mainly used for the starting and the stopping of the engine also. Okay. Next one is the ignition coil. Ignition coil transforms the battery low tension current to high tension current. Okay, due to this coiling. So just like it acts as the transformer. Okay, so low tension current to high tension current required to produce the spark by jumping in spark plug. Okay. Now we'll see. Next one is the distributor. Distributor. What is the importance of distributor? Distributor delivers the spark to proper cylinder. Okay. So and incorporates the mechanical breaker which opens and closes the primary circuit at exact times. As per the timings, this distributor provides the supply of power to spark by the help of this spark. This power spark plug gives the spark in the cylinder. Automatically ignition takes place. So time for running is very important. Distributor as based upon the timings of crank movement. So it provides the supply to spark plugs. So this one is just like a schematic block diagram for the battery ignition system. We know this one. This is the battery. The capacity of battery is 6 to 12 volts. Meter to measure the current. We know this one. So there is a switch, ignition switch, just starting and closing of the engine. When the switch ons, automatically the power supply is goes to primary winding. There are in induction coil. There are two types of coiling system. One is the primary coiling. Second one is the just like secondary is the primary winding and secondary windings. So primary windings only nearly 200 to 300 tons of 20 gauge wire is there, like this one. 20 gauge wire, 200 to 300 tons only. But in secondary winding, we can see 2100 tons of 40 gauge wire. So this is the okay. By the help of just like a secondary winding. So, the power supply will be improved or increased, this one. Okay, so next, this primary winding is connected to contact breaker. So this contact breaker is operated by cam mechanism. So sometimes it connects and disconnects, connects and disconnects. So this is the contact breaker. Okay, so next, connected to earth. So if it is connected, automatically the supply comes from battery. Battery, that measurement, the power is the current is measured by meter. So by oning of the switch, the power is coming into the primary winding. So next, primary winding to, when the connecting of just contact breaker and connecting of the contact breaker, the power automatically transfers to the circuit and goes to the earth. So this is a complete circuit. One is the battery to switch to primary windings to earth. So this circuit completes, automatically power supply goes on. Okay, so this is this one. Next one, if the contact breaker disconnects the situation, disconnects means the power doesn't goes to the just like earthing. So this power is taken by the capacitor. So capacitor stores the energy. That capacitor again gives the energy to the just secondary coil, secondary windings. So when the power is supplied to the secondary windings, high number of coils, automatically the power will be improved. So the voltage will be improved, just like here nearly 20,000 to 30,000 voltage will develop through this coiling system. Right? So this high voltage is supplied to the this one is the distributor. So this is the distributor. The distributor, some distributor contacts are there here. This is the contact 1, contact 2, contact 3, contact 4. So this contacts are connected to different spark plugs which are placed in the which are positioned at the cylinders. So this spark plug connected to one cylinder, this one connected to another cylinder, this one is connected to another, this is connected to another cylinder. So 4 spark plugs are connected to four engine cylinders. So these spark plugs are connected to distributed contacts. These are called contacts. So there is a rotor. This is the rotor. Power is supplied to rotor distributor. This rotor rotates as per the timings of crank movement. Based upon the crank movement, this one also, rotor also rotates. When it is rotating, the rotor, this is the rotor. When the coincide with the distributing contact, it means when the rotor comes to contact with this one, automatically power supply, high voltage power supply goes to this the wiring system and goes to the spark plug. Okay, and the spark plug gets that high voltage, automatically it gives the spark, automatically combustion takes place in the cylinder. Okay. When this rotor comes to this position, next to distribute contact, automatically the power is supplied to the second spark plug, which is connected to that particular contact. So automatically the spark plug gives the spark, automatically combustion takes place. So next, when the rotor comes to the third point, automatically the third spark plug gives the spark, automatically combustion takes place. Next to fourth. So in this way, just like when the rotor is rotating and connected with the contacts, distributing contacts, automatically power supply will be distributed to the spark plug. When the spark plug gets the high voltage, automatically that gives the spark to perform the combustion process. In this way, just like ignition system, is works on this one. Based upon the timings, the power is supplied to spark. Spark gives this spark plugs. Spark plug gives this spark. Based upon this spark, ignition takes place in the cylinder. So this is the process. This is the process of distributing the power to perform the spark plug for the combustion of the cylinder. So this one is the battery or coil type ignition system. We will see some few points regarding this one also. This is the same system. Okay. Once again, just I'm repeating this one. This one is the battery. You know this one. Battery gives the power supply. This one is the ignition switch, off and on of the engine. When switch is on, the power is goes through the primary coil, and the primary coil is connected to. There are two connections. One is the condenser. Another one is the just like contact breaker. So when the contact breaker is connected with this one, automatically the power supply which is coming from the primary coil, that is goes to the earthing portion. So circuit completes automatically. The power supplies goes on like this one. When the contact breaker is disconnect with that one, automatically the power comes into the capacitor. When the capacitor fills, the power goes to the secondary primary coil. And when power goes into the secondary primary coil, automatically the power is just like the intensity, the voltage of the power improved nearly 200 to 20,000 to 30,000. The high voltage supply is supplied to the distributor. You know this distributor. Distributor has 4 distributing connections which are connected to 4 spark plugs which are placed in the 4 cylinders. Okay. There is a rotor. This is the rotor. When the rotor is rotating and coincident with the connector, automatically the power supply goes into the this connection and passes through spark plug. When high voltage passes through the spark plug gives this spark. By the help of this spark, automatically ignition takes place. Okay. So this rotor works as per the timings. When the rotor is coincident with the distributor connect, automatically power is supplied to the corresponding spark plug. Spark plug gives the spark. By the help of spark, ignition takes place. So this is the ignition system, spark ignition system or battery ignition system. So this is the one of the ignition system, battery ignition system. It is completely dependent upon the battery. Battery gives the supply. By the help of that supply, automatically spark plugs will work for the combustion. Okay, that is the one of the method, one of the ignition system. Now we'll see second one. Second one is the magneto ignition system. Magneto ignition system. So this type of ignition system is mostly used for the motorcycles, scooters, and racing cars also. Okay, the magneto ignition system with main components as shown in figure. I will show that one. In magneto ignition system is very similar in the principle to the battery or coil ignition system, except magnetic field. So in coil system, in battery system, we'll see the battery, but here instead of battery, you will see the magnetic field in the core of the primary and secondary windings. You know, there also coil system windings are there. Okay, so we'll see what is the this one is the just like ignition system. You can see, otherwise you can see this diagram. This one is the block diagram of magneto ignition system. For explanation, here also instead of battery, there is a magnetic field. Here also primary winding and secondary windings are there. So this one is the primary, next one is the secondary windings. You can see dash lines represents the primary windings, and thick lines shows the secondary thick line shows the primary windings and dashed lines shows the secondary windings. So in which you will see, for the understanding purpose, I am taking this diagram, magneto-ignition system. Here, rotating magnet assembly is there. Two types. Sometimes in some systems, this armature will rotate, or sometimes this magnet will rotate. Okay. Sometimes both will rotate. So these three types of systems are provided in this magneto system. Okay. Here, rotating magnet assembly is there. When the magnet is rotating, automatically due to the magnetic field, power will produce. The power is supplied to the primary windings. Primary windings. So these are the primary windings. These are the primary winding is connected to contact breaker. So through contact breaker to circuit. So earthing is there. When the contact, same principle is going on here also. When the contact breaker is connected with this one, the power which is developed by magnet field. So through primary coil to through contact breaker to earthing. So the circuit completes, the power is supplied like this one. Suppose if the contact breaker disconnects, the power is taken by the condenser. So, okay. So this condenser stores the energy. The stored energy is given to the secondary windings. And the power is goes in secondary windings automatically. Just like the intensity, the voltage of power will be improved randomly. So you know that is nearly 2,000 to 20,000 to 30,000. The high voltage power is supplied to the distributor. You know the distributing function, very similar to battery coil system. Here also there is a 4 connectors are there in the distributor connection. These 4 connectors are connected with 4 spark plugs in 4 cylinders. This is the one cylinder, another cylinder, another cylinder, another cylinder. Here also, just like rotor will rotates as per the timings. When the rotor is coincident or connect with the distributing connect, so the power is supplied. The high voltage supply is goes into the spark which is connected to that particular connector. So the spark, when the power is supplied to the high voltage is supplied to the spark plug. The spark plug gives the spark. Due to this sparking, ignition takes place in that particular cylinder. Okay. Next, when the rotor comes into next connection, so the spark is taken, spark is occurs in the corresponding spark plug. And when the rotor is coincided with the next third connector, so the spark plug which is connected to third connection, automatically the spark plug gives the spark. So in this way, just like as per the timings of rotating of crankshaft, so the rotor distributor gives the supply based upon the distributing of the power. The spark plug gives the sparks. So when the spark plug gives the sparks, automatically ignition takes place. So this is the same system compared to battery coil system. But in case of battery coiling system, battery should be needed. But here we'll use the magnetic field. This magnetic field is positioned on the engine. When the engine is rotated, automatically magnetic field also, rotating magnet, this magnet assembly also will rotate. Okay, armature, otherwise magnet. And rotating this one, automatically power will be developed. The power goes through primary connection by connecting of contact breaker. So when contact breaker disconnects, the power supply is connected to or goes through the secondary winding. So high voltage supplied to the distributor. So this is the process. We'll see some comparisons between the magneto ignition system and coil ignition system. Okay, magneto ignition system is a special type of ignition system with its own electric generator. Okay, so without any supply of battery, power supply from the battery. So it is a system, its own electric generator to provide the required necessary energy for the vehicle system. So without working of battery, so in our scooters and in our bikes, so we can uh, run the, or we can start the engine, we can go by the help of this magneto ignition system. Okay, but in cars it is not possible charge, because in the cars we will use that battery or coil ignition system. If the battery is not working, automatically the car will not start. Okay, so it is mounted. The magneto ignition system is mounted on the engine, replaces all components of the coil ignition system except battery. Okay, a magneto uh, when rotated. So because the magneto is connected to the engine, when the engine rotates, a magnetic field also works. So when magneto rotates by the engine, is capable of producing very high voltage. So does not need any battery as a source of external energy. So by rotating the magneto automatically, due to the effect of magnetic field, power will generate. That power goes to the coils. The main component of the components of the ignition coil are same. Distributor here also there also there. Condenser same. Contact breakers also there. Ignition coils are the same components you can see in magneto ignition system and coil ignition system. But in magneto, we'll see the magnetic field, magnet. Uh, in battery ignition system, we'll see the battery to supply the power. Okay. We'll see magnetic ignition systems are two important types. Magnetic ignition system, they are rotating armature type. One is sometimes armature will rotate, sometimes magnet will rotate. So by rotating the magnet or rotating the armature, power will develop. So that power passes through coils. Okay. In the first type, armature consisting of primary and secondary windings, those are rotates in between the poles of stationary magnet. But in the secondary type, the magnet revolves and windings are kept stationary. It means coils are kept stationary. So in the third type means both the magneto or both windings. One remains stationary, another moves. Another remains stationary, the first one moves, rotates. So in this way, just like power is developed, okay, based upon that power, the ignition system will work. So we already discussed this one, capacitor in the magneto injection system. So the function of capacitor, we already discussed this one. The function of capacitor is to reduce arc at the contact breaker. Also, when the contact breaker opens, the magnetic field in the primary winding begins collapse. It connects, that is in power is supplied in the primary voltage. When it disconnects, the power is supplied into the secondary coil, secondary windings. When the magnetic field is collapsing, automatically capacitor gets fully charged and then it starts discharging and helps in building up of voltage in the secondary windings. Okay. Contact breaker, it is to be noted that contact breaker works on the cam principle or cam mechanism. It distributes the and distributor rotor also mounted on the same shaft. So based upon the shaft movement or cam mechanism, both are working. Next to distributor. The main advantage of high tension magneto ignition system is production of very high voltage because of the poor starting characteristics of the magneto systems. These are already discussed in this one. So same principles here also. Magneto will rotates. The power supply is connected to the first primary windings to contact breaker. If it is connected, automatically goes into earthing. So circuit completes. When the contact breaker disconnects, the power is collected by condenser. So this power is supplied to the secondary coil. When the power is supplied to secondary coil, automatically the high voltage will be developed. That high voltage is supplied to the distributor. Based upon the rotation of the rotor, the power is supplied to different spark plugs. Based upon the supply of voltage in the spark plug gives the sparks. Based upon the sparks, ignition takes place. So this is the just like magneto ignition system. Okay. So these are the references for proper understanding. You can go through these books. Thank you for listening this class. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.